But now it's just what was under the table when I was coming through is pretty much on the table, right? Other than that, it's just been, you're right. I mean, the landscape has really changed. It really has. It's evolved into something that we never would have thought we'd see in sport and college athletics with the NIL and that whole thing, and then just the transfer portal and those things that were non-existent when I was competing, right, or even when I was coaching. And so that's kind of changed the game, where you've got to go out and wrestling. And of course, college coaches have always been um, in the position where they had to go raise money and they had to go out and get the community involved and get the business leaders involved. Those things were always a part of college wrestling. I've seen it through my time with, when my coach Chesbro was coaching, and the things he did to get the alumni and the business committee involved. But now it's just what was under the table when I was coming through is pretty much on the table, right? So those things has really made the position of a head coach very, very difficult. And you got to go out, you got to raise money, you got to raise funds, you got to build your fan base, you got to build your camps, you got to, so it's just really, and you have to get your assistants in place where they're doing a lot of things that you need to do, but you really can't. You don't have the time, and so you really had to have delegation to your assistants to where they can go out and do the things that you just don't have time to do, right? And that's why you see now these guys they're hiring directors of operations, just so they can get that off their desk, right? So they're hiring guys that understand business and kind of how to run your organization like a business, right? And so it's not just about teaching wrestling, of course, which that's kind of what we really want to do. But it's hard to be successful this day and age with just X's and O's, right?
100%. And
Yeah,
we talk about that on this podcast a lot. And I do want to
right,
get back to fundraising, but
right,
but one of the things that stuck with me that you said was you have to reintroduce wrestling
yeah,
to the administration.
right,
That's an interesting concept to me. And that's my ignorance because like why don't you know wrestling? Because I know
yeah,
wrestling. I've been doing this my whole life,
right, right,
but
right,
they don't know wrestling,
right.
and
They don't,
and that
they don't.
it becomes problematic. So walk me through. So and every coach that we've had on here has made it a point to say something to the effect of you got to get the administration on your side day
Hmm.
one, whether that means walking up there with a doggone t-shirt or just knowing their names and what they do. So tell me what it's like to talk to an administration, explain to them something that comes so natural to us, something that
Hmm.
we don't even think about, but but conveying how much passion you have for the sport so that they can kind of feel that as well.
Yeah, it's just it's a challenge when you don't. I think our biggest challenge is it's been dried up for 20 something years, right? And so you have people that have never seen the sport of wrestling, never was a fan of sport of wrestling. It's not like you come from like any other school that the Oklahoma State, any
Yeah.
UNCs where they know about wrestling, they've seen it. It's not foreign to them, and so you got people that are fans of the sport somewhere down the line, and somewhere in their family or someone they know. So it's been a challenge just trying to, because they're not really fans of the sport.
Right.
So they
Right.
don't have the same passion, of course. They don't see how important it is to have a regional training center that's going to help you build your program, your camp system. Like they kind of understand the camp system, but as far as just trying to build the community fan base in where I'm working with high schools and working with the club teams and trying to get them to help me build a club program that's going to build the fan base.